Welcome back to the channel. I'm AlgoBot, your guide to the world of automated MetaTrader 5 trading. In today's video, we're taking a close look at a clean, pure price action expert advisor called Engulfing Tide Reversal. What makes this one interesting is that it uses no indicators at all. There are no moving averages, no oscillators, no relative strength index. Just the raw story that the candles themselves tell. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how it spots an exhausted swing, how it enters on a powerful engulfing candle, and how it protects each trade with structural stops. Let's dive in and watch the tide turn. Let's start with the big picture. Engulfing Tide Reversal is a counter-trend, mean reversion strategy that fades exhausted micro swings in the market. The whole idea is built around one of the oldest and most respected candlestick patterns there is, the engulfing candle. A bullish engulfing candle is one where a strong up bar completely swallows the body of the previous down bar, suggesting buyers have just overwhelmed sellers. A bearish engulfing candle is the mirror image, where sellers overwhelm buyers. Now, here's the important part. Engulfing candles appear all the time, and most of them mean very little on their own. This strategy refuses to trade them in the middle of a range. It only takes a signal when the engulfing candle appears at the turning point of a short swing, at the very bottom of a fresh down move for a long, or at the very top of a fresh up move for a short. In other words, it waits for one side to exhaust itself before the opposite side takes over, just like a tide reaching its lowest point before it begins to flood back in. Because it uses no indicators whatsoever, there's nothing to lag and nothing to repaint. Every decision is made purely from the open, high, low, and close of closed candles. The default playground is a liquid foreign exchange major, such as euro, US dollar, or pound, US dollar, on the 1-hour time frame. This kind of trader profile suits someone who likes clean, rules-based reversal trading and who appreciates a strategy that adapts to any symbol or time frame automatically. Remember, this is for educational purposes only, and nothing here is financial advice. Now let's walk through the exact logic, step by step. The strategy only acts once per newly closed bar, so there's no reacting to noise inside a forming candle. It looks at two bars, the signal bar, which is the most recently closed candle, and the prior bar, which is the one immediately before it. For a long trade, the EA detects a bullish engulfing setup. First, the prior bar must be bearish, closing below its open. Second, the signal bar must be bullish, closing above its open. Third, the signal bar's body must fully engulf the prior body. It opens at or below the prior close and closes at or above the prior open. On top of that, the signal body has to be at least the engulf factor times larger than the prior body, so we demand a genuinely dominant candle, not a marginal one. Fourth, the close must be decisive. The body has to make up at least the minimum body fraction of the candle's full range, which filters out indecisive candles with fat wicks on both sides. And fifth, the context filter. The signal bar's low must be the lowest low of the entire look-back window. This guarantees the engulfing candle is capping a fresh downswing rather than appearing randomly inside a range. A short trade is the exact mirror image. The prior bar is bullish, the signal bar is bearish, the bearish body engulfs the prior body. It dominates by the engulf factor, it closes decisively, and the signal bar's high is the highest high of the look-back window, a fresh upswing being rejected. Now for risk management, which is beautifully simple. The stops are structural, expressed as a fraction of the signal bar's own range, so they automatically scale to any symbol or time frame with no point size or volatility input needed. On a long, the stop loss is placed just below the signal bar's low, and the risk is the distance from entry down to that stop. The take profit is then the entry plus the reward ratio multiplied by that risk. On a short, everything flips. The stop sits just above the signal high, and the target is projected the same proportional distance downward. The EA holds only one position per magic number at a time, letting the structural stop and target manage the exit on their own. Let's walk through this illustration together. Notice there's no oscillator panel here, because this strategy reads price directly. On the left, watch the market roll over and sell off. Candle by candle, price grinds lower, each bar carving out a fresh lower low as a downswing develops. Then, at the very bottom, the fifth candle changes everything. It's a strong bullish bar that opens below the prior candle's close and closes above the prior candle's open, completely swallowing that previous red body. Its low is the lowest low of the whole window, so the engulf is capping an exhausted downswing. That is the bullish engulfing trigger, and the buy entry fires. The structural stop loss is tucked just beneath that signal low, shown by the lower dashed line, and the take profit is projected upward at the reward multiple of that risk. Price now turns and tides back in, climbing bar after bar until it reaches the take profit around 1.0930. The long trade is complete. Now watch the second half. Price keeps pushing higher into a fresh upswing, making higher highs into a peak. On the 10th candle, a powerful bearish bar appears. It opens above the prior close and closes below the prior open, engulfing the previous green body, and its high is the highest high of the window. That's the bearish engulfing trigger at a swing high, and the sell entry fires. The stop loss sits just above that signal high, shown by the upper dashed line, and the target projects downward. Price rolls over and falls all the way to the take profit near 1.0866. Both directions, same logic, mirrored. This is an educational illustration only. Let's go through the inputs so you know exactly what you can tune. The first is LookbackBars, defaulting to 6. This controls how far back the signal candle must be the swing extreme, the lowest low for a long, or the highest high for a short. A larger number means the engulf has to cap a more developed, more mature swing, which gives you fewer but more selective signals. The second is EngulfFactor, defaulting to 1.20. The signal body must be at least this multiple of the body it engulfs. Raise it toward 2 or 3 and you demand a truly overwhelming candle. Lower it toward 1 and you'll accept more marginal engulfs. Third is minimum body fraction, defaulting to 0.50. This is the smallest the signal body can be as a fraction of its full range. At 50%, you're insisting on a decisive close and filtering out doji-like candles with fat two-sided wicks. Push it higher for cleaner, more committed bars. Fourth is stop buffer fraction, defaulting to 0.10. This places the stop a little beyond the signal extreme, as a fraction of the bar's range, giving the trade a small cushion against a wick taking you out prematurely. Fifth is reward ratio, defaulting to 1.80, which sets the take profit distance as a multiple of the structural stop distance. A higher ratio aims for bigger winners, but naturally lowers your hit rate. Then there's lots, the fixed trade size, defaulting to 0.10, which you should always match to your own account and risk tolerance. And finally, magic, the unique identifier the EA uses to track its own positions. Adjust these gradually, change one at a time, and always test on history before going live. And that brings us to the end. Today we explored Engulfing Tide Reversal, a pure price action expert advisor that trades bullish and bearish engulfing candles, but only at the exhausted extreme of a fresh swing, with clean structural stops and targets that scale to any market. We walked through the entry rules, the exit logic, every parameter, and how to run your own backtest. Remember, everything in this video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. If you found this useful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more MetaTrader 5 strategy breakdowns, and drop a comment telling me which EA you'd like me to analyze next. You can find more at www.algobot.live. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Trade responsibly.